got here. All right, David. We are almost ready to go. I just need to activate one more account. But they can the audience
Yep.
that's on right now, they could go ahead and they could hear us now. So if you wanna you know what, you go ahead and introduce yourself for the people that are just coming in that might not be familiar with you, and then I'll go ahead and activate the last account right now.
Hey, for one, who are these audience members that you speak of? These unknowns,
Hey,
these
so
these masks behind the curtain. I'm just kidding.
so I'm not sure if I mentioned. I'm not sure if I mentioned to you, but I back in January, I ended up opening up a new TikTok account that was based out of the UK. So we've been getting in a lot of traffic from the UK. So like Britain and Great Britain, also what is it?
That's cool.
Scotland, Ireland,
Oh, that's cool.
Australia. So we've
I
been
did not
getting,
know that.
yeah. So a lot of people have been coming in from other countries. So yeah. So yeah, we got Amanda. She wrote down from the UK. So there it is there.
Amanda, what's up from the UK? All right. So, I mean, actually, what's up from the US to the UK? So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is David Isaac Lopez. I am currently incarcerated in California in state prison. Um, I'm what you would consider a lifer. I was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms for a 187 that happened in 2010. So I've been in for about 15 years. Um, a 187 in California, that's the code that they give you when you take somebody's life. So I was sentenced to 15 years to life, and then I have another sentence that I have to start after the 15 to life, which is a 25 to life sentence. So for a lot of us that have time like I got in the court, we look at it like it's curtains. Like that's it. There's no more say goodbye to the streets. No trips to the UK. No messing with the guards in front of the Kensington Palace. That's it. We don't get those things no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, trying to get them to smile and stuff like we see on TV, but yeah, we don't get none of those things. That means never driving a car again, never seeing the beach again, nothing. This is my life. So things have changed though. Things have changed. So we come onto this channel because I'm usually on here with my ace Deuce, which is he's my roommate in California prisons, even probably all across the U.S. We call him cellies, my cellmate, someone I live with in this small environment. So my cellie, he's usually on here with me, but he's out at a visit right now, which is Jesse the Nava. It's my boy right there. He's like a brother to me. So he was also sentenced to life without parole. My sentence, I have a possibility of parole. It's down the line a little bit. Jesse he was serving life without the possibility of parole. There were some changes in his case. He went back to court, and they reduced his sentence to 25 to life, which is life with the possibility. So he's been in for 24 years. So he's almost out. We have to get screened through the board process to go home, which is a parole board to determine if we're still dangerous to society. So with all that in mind, right? So you listen to me, you're like, damn, this dude is screwed. You know, and in a lot of senses, the way that I live my life, I screwed myself really. So what I do is I come onto this channel because I want you guys to all know out there, no matter what you're going through, including myself, you can always change. It doesn't matter if I have to spend the rest of my life in prison. I'm not going to spend it living the same destructive lifestyle that I lived before. I've been clean for a long time. I'm not in here causing problems anymore. I'm not doing all those things right now.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm utilizing the opportunities that the state of California is giving me to rehabilitate myself because they have an emphasis on rehabilitation now because punitive corrections weren't working. So that's what I'm here for. We'll talk a little bit more about the journey, kind of how all this happened. If you guys are curious, you guys can ask questions. James is my boy right here, and if you're curious about California prison, things like that, feel free to chime in.
All right, thank you, David. Highly appreciate that. So we are running on all the platforms right now. I got 3 phones in front of me. I got like 6 cameras, so all eyes on me right now. Thank you for sharing that. Let me go ahead and read on some of the comments right here. We got a comment from Chacha. She writes, "That's the right attitude," and she's hey man, shout out to Chacha. You know she's on here day after day. Let me see. Sober Nana writes, "Yes, 3 years sober here. We do recover and change." Let me see. D writes, "So sad."
Exactly.
Let me see what else. We got a comment from Lori. She writes, "Good afternoon." Afternoon, all. Good morning
afternoon.
from Chacha. Let me see. Johnny writes, "Hey, James in chat." Let me see. And Sober Nana wanted to know if they have cell phones in prison. So I'm assuming that she thought that you were on a cell phone because we're on this call. Do you want to chime in on that, David?
Yeah. Okay, so there are cell phones in prison. They're not allowed to be in prison. I don't use those. What I have here is I have a tablet. So you're going to hear a recording. You're going to hear a recording come on from time to time, letting everybody know that this call is recorded and monitored. And so these are tablets that they passed out. They started about 5 years ago because they wanted to have an emphasis on rehabilitation and family.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So you hear that. If you hear that, you know that I'm not on a cell phone. So I'm not hiding my conversations from the prison or from anything. I'm an open book. So if you hear me talk about, yes, my crime and whatnot, I take full responsibility for why I'm here. I love it that I had people that are sober on here because I'm sober too. I've been sober for I've been something over 6 years. My clean date is December 19, 2018, but that's not from the hard stuff. I've been sober off of the hard stuff for way longer. But the last thing I did was I took a little piece of Suboxone in my sponsor told me it counts. So it reset my sober date.
Hey, you can't escape it.
But that's you can't escape the sobriety date, man. And they give us Suboxone in here too. So I hope I answered that question. Yes, there is cell phones in prison. Anybody who uses a cell phone in prison is not in recovery. So that should tell you right now where people stand. I'm not saying, I'm not here to judge them for what they're doing and whatnot, but me, when I made a decision to cease my criminal behavior and to change my life, I had to cut everything, even the little things. And it's hard, man, because cell phones, they connect you to the world. I've had them in here before. And it's real easy to just hop on it and freaking, watch Netflix and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, how is that honoring my victims if I'm cheating the process? So that's what I tell these guys. Look, man, you're here for a reason. There's guys that say, I didn't do it. They're innocent. I've even referred a couple guys to this channel that one of them actually is innocent and he was released. Other guys say they are. Who am I to judge? But the fact of the matter is, I did it. I'm in prison for a reason, and I have to take responsibility for what led me here today. And so cell phones are out.
Thank you, David. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the chat. So we had Frank coming in from Africa. We had Macy coming in from Ireland. We got Nutty from the UK. We got somebody from Scotland. I can't see the name. Dwayne, we got from UK. So like I was mentioning earlier on, we got people tuning in from all over the place. And I want to go ahead. There is a lot of questions coming in, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to read them off as in the order they're received. Let me see here. Let me see. Edge writes, unalive someone, but why?
What was that question?
Unalive someone, but why? So they want to know why would you take somebody's life?
Whoa. Okay, so there's no excuse for what I did. 100%, there's no excuse for what I did. All I can tell you about, because I don't want to say, it was this reason, it was that reason. So what that does is it takes away from the magnitude of what I did. I could tell you that the person that I was then, I was a violent gang member who cared more about my status and reputation than I did about human life. That's just what it comes down to. In California, Southern California, even Northern California, once we decide to go down that path to become a gang member, we don't really understand what we're getting ourselves into, but we enter into a lifestyle that's full of violence. We end up fighting our so-called homeboys at first, and it just escalates. It gets worse and it gets worse. My particular crime that I committed, it's on the internet. Like I said, my name is David Isaac Lopez. You guys can Google it, and you guys will find the type of individual that I was. And that's what it is, you know.
Thank you, David, for sharing that. We have a comment from, let me see, from Frank. Nick, he writes, congratulations. And I'm assuming that was, he wrote that message when you were speaking about your sobriety. We got a comment from Taurus. She writes, hi, James. We got Rox Bella. Hello, Mr. CollectCallFrom, if you will. Let me see. We got Chloe, a girl. She writes, go Dodgers. We got S. Baker.
Go Dodgers. That's what I'm talking about.
We got a comment from S. Baker.
Yeah.
They write, does he get bored or no?
I do. I get bored. So right now, because of the way the laws were, right, like I said, I was sentenced to 2 life sentences, a total of 40 years to life. So there was changes in the laws recently that gave me an opportunity to go to board in 2031. So like I said, I've been in for 15 years, about 15 years, and I'll go to board on my 21st year, and I'll have an opportunity to go home.
All right, David, thank you for that. I'm gonna go ahead and move along here down the comments. We got a comment from My Life's Peachy. He writes, what up, James? Hey, how's it going, Peachy? Let me see. 401 Matt writes, let me see how
You have 60 seconds remaining.
let me see that he wrote, how have you been sober since 2018, but been in prison for 15 years already?
Hey, what a great question, man. Exactly.
He caught that one.
I'll explain that. Yeah, no, we got less than 60 seconds left on this call, so I'll go ahead and give you a call back right now. These are 15-minute phone calls, guys, so you're going to have to bear with me. I'll answer your questions, but let me give you a call back right now. And so we have a fresh 15 so I can answer that question.
All right, perfect, David. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
All right. So I want to go ahead and welcome you to You Have a CollectCallFrom, where we pretty much deal with anything that has to do with incarcerations. We do prison interviews. I know a lot of you guys are probably here because I do the board of parole hearings, and we do those the initial arrest appearances in Arizona and in Florida. So today we're switching it up. We're doing the live prison phone calls, if you will. So I want to go ahead and thank everybody that's tuning in today. Really appreciate you guys. And if you guys haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you anything. And no gifts are required when you guys are on here. But I would appreciate the follows, if you will, because that definitely helps me get into the algorithm. Also, hitting the hearts. That's definitely a plus. So if you guys could go ahead and do that,
is now being
highly appreciate you guys.
Tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello.
All right, James.
All right.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna get back to the last question because that's a lot of people, they don't understand that, right? It's like, okay, well, you're in prison, so you're stuck there, and how do we know that you've really changed? You don't have access to drugs. You don't have access to your gang. You don't have access to a bunch of things that could actually put your recovery to the test. So how do we really know that you're a different person? Well, I don't know the name that of the person that asked that question, but look. Prison is its own society. I've been in for 15 years right now, but I have an older number also, which means that I was in prison before. I actually I got incarcerated for the first time when I was about 15 years old, and I did several years there. I came into state prison at 18 years old. It's a natural progression of my criminal activity. One thing about state prison is there's thousands and thousands of people within every institution. These are guys that live their life in prison. All they do is look for ways to bring in shit. You know, there's everything you could think of in prison. You know, there's an underworld that lives in prison that maybe if somebody came in, they probably wouldn't see it for what it is. But no, there's definitely a black market in prison, and that includes all kinds of illegal drugs, everything you could think of, man. There's guys in here that are falling out on spice nonstop, which is like some synthetic marijuana. You got your smokers, you got your tweakers, you got your crackheads, you got all kinds of stuff in prison. And there's a huge epidemic right now of fentanyl in the prison system, and I've actually seen people die in here because of overdoses relating to that. So when I was involved in all that stuff, like I said, I didn't take responsibility for my actions, and because I had known so many people that had grown up in the system with me, it wasn't uncommon for me to get to an institution and I see somebody that I've known since I was a kid in another institution, and they had it going on. So we all used to look out for each other. That's what we thought. Like, we thought that was like doing our homies a favor.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Oh, that's the homie right there. I've known him since juvenile hall. That's the homie right there. We've known him since YA, which is the California Youth Authority. Oh, that's the homie right there. We've known him since from this prison, from that prison. Oh, that's a good dude right there. Well, what you got? Well, he likes he likes that go fast. You know, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna lace him up, hook him up with a couple ounces. You know, let him get on his feet. You know, and realistically though, we're not even giving him a chance because you know, he's fallen right into the same routine because that was his social circle. And guess what? That dude's going to go on. He's going to do what he's got to do. He's going to start making money. They have Cash App and PayPal, and they got all that stuff in prison. They work all that stuff out, you know, and they start living the same destructive lifestyle. And guess what? Before long, you stop noticing that you're even locked up, with the exception of, yeah, there's no women in here. But after a while, once you've grown up in the system, you don't really care about that. You're just like, all right, well, it's what it is. I never had it then. I ain't gonna, you know, why am I worried about it now? So, you know, things, you start to get so consumed where living your life in a cage doesn't seem like such a bad thing to do. Every once in a while, they run up on you, take you to the hole. Every once in a while, you know, you might get into some shit in here. You might get jumped. You might jump somebody. And that's just the way you live your life in here until you learn to look inward, until you have that aha moment. Mine happened while I was high. You know, a lot of people ask me, well, how did you get sober? Because guys know me from before. I've been in the system a long time. Guys ask me, how did you go from that to who you are today? Because I can't even recognize who you are today. I can't see that unless you know me from like looking me up in the news or seeing knowing me from before or being in an incident. Like, people they don't connect me with my past. Well, it's because I've separated myself from my past. I was super high one night. I was sitting there. I had been up for about a week. I was on that go fast. I was sitting in my cell, and it just seemed like the whole world it just crumbled on me one day. Like, I was sitting on the top bunk, and it's almost like a feeling of claustrophobia. One of the other listeners told me it was my moment of conviction, but I really felt my life just crumbling in on me. I thought, man, I'm going to die in prison. I'm looking at my walls. My walls are so small. The cell that I'm in a cell right now. I'm on a level 3 institution right now. And I look around my cell at the walls, and I'm like, damn, I could reach out from side to side right now, and including in the cell I was in before, and I could touch both my walls. That's how wide my cell is. And not only that, in this area right here, this small confinement, I have a locker on my side, and I have beds right here. I have a toilet right here, so I can't move around. The width is probably 2 feet of my walking path in between the cell right here, between the bunk and the locker. And I'm looking around at my environment, and I'm really taking a good look for the first time. And I'm thinking, well, it's not the first time, but it's the first time that I took a good look at really who I was as a person. And I thought, this is exactly where I belong. This is where I belong. And I kept thinking about something that there was the individual that I'm here for taking his life. When I was in trial, they have a portion of the trial before I get sentenced where the victim's family, victims of my crime, could get up and they can speak. And I was a very callous individual at that time. I wasn't trying to hear nothing. I was more concerned about what I had going on. And when I heard his mom come up and speak, and when I heard his sister come up and speak, they didn't, they weren't like, it's kind of hard to explain, but they weren't yelling at me. They weren't, all they were doing was trying to paint a picture of what their life was now without their loved one. About, well, who's going to care for his son now? Who's going to ensure that he gets to school? We love him. Like, that's what they were telling me. Like, this was their brother. And in my eyes, the way that I looked, well, I had only seen this individual as another gang member. I had only seen this individual in a negative light because I was looking through a one-sided lens where I only wanted to see what I wanted to see. It was my perspective. But they opened this individual up and they humanized him to me. And a part of that still lives with me today. Their words were so powerful that it hit me. While I was sitting in that cell, I was high on drugs, and for that night, I said a prayer. I'm religious. I'm not going to get into what my religion is, all that, because I don't want to, that's my spiritual journey. But I said a prayer to my higher power, and I asked that night to have this addiction, just to help me beat this addiction. I didn't want to be high no more. I didn't want to do it. I couldn't do it. I was battling with this horrible addiction to that go fast. And I just didn't want to live like that no more.
Hey, David, my apologies. I had to, I just wanted to go ahead and speak because some of the people in the comments are asking me if I'm talking to you or if you could hear me. So this call is live. David's currently in prison, as you guys could hear on the background recording and whatnot. Sophie's asking me, can we ask him a question? You definitely can. Just my apologies. There's so many questions coming in that it's kind of hard to get to them, but
sorry, yeah.
I'll try my best, to get these questions in. We do have a question from let me see, from Thomas Gardner. He's asking, can you ask him for me, will he ever come out of prison, please?
I hope, I want to say that I will one day. I'm doing everything I can to show that I'm not the person that I was before. Like I mentioned before, I have a board date, which means I'm eligible to see the board for possible release in 2031. September of 2031, I can go in front of a parole board, and they can make a determination if I'm still a threat to society. And if they find that I'm not, they can release me. So I could go home in about 6 years?
And at this point,
or I can die in prison.
And that's a reality right there. At this point, how long have you been in prison at this point? Just on this sentence.
Almost 15 years. September will be 15 years.
And Sophie wants to know how old are you? And somebody had asked me earlier on if I've ever seen you before, and that's why I was holding up the picture. That was a picture of David right there. We've never met in person. Most of our conversations have obviously been over the phone and video calls. From time to time, we are able to do video calls. My account, unfortunately, was suspended for about a month for some unknown reasons, and it was recently reinstated. So in the next week or so, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing some video visits. Hopefully, if David's available, we'll go ahead and do some interactions like that via video visit. I know you guys do enjoy these video visits from within the visiting prison day room. Also, if you guys want to see some of our older videos and whatnot, I do have under my profile, we do have video visits out in the real world with David and numerous countless other individuals, which include also his celly, which would be Jesse Nava. If you guys want to hear his backstory, because I know a lot of you guys are asking what he's in prison for. If you go over to our main channel at CollectCallFrom, we do have playlists on there with his whole backstory. I'm putting up the platform that it's on. If you go to the playlist, go to David Lopez, you could hear his whole interview from the moment that he was a child, his earliest memory as a child, to where he's currently at now in his life. So just to get some of that stuff out of the way. Let me see. Sophie wants to know, how old are you?
I'm 43. 43 years old.
We have Scottish Paul. He writes, "Happy Sunday, James." Hey, thank you, Scottish Paul. So Scottish Paul he's coming in from Scotland.
Yep.
I would assume. Let me see. Does David get Maria wants to know, does David get prisoner, or sorry, does David get visits? And she had another question on here that popped up on here. Let me see. We got
I
Tiny
get visits,
T in
yeah.
here. He writes, "What's good, James? I send mine
Tiny, what's up, my boy?
to you and to the boy
What's up,
David."
my boy? Yep. What's up, my boy Tiny? How you doing, my boy?
Yes, I'm looking for that question from Maria, because I know
no,
she asked it on here a few times on
Yep.
here. Let me see. She wants to know, what's your journey when you come out?
Well, it's very, very specific. So, I said I'm 43. So by the time I have an opportunity to go home, I'll be 50 at least. So my options are very limited. About 5 years ago,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
they started promoting education in here. Before, it used to just be the GED. So what they noticed is that guys who had associate's degrees have a very are much less likely to return to prison. They call it recidivism, and so they started doing contracts with colleges in the areas like around the prisons. So I was lucky enough to get involved with one of those college programs. Out here, it's Imperial Valley College, and with them, I'm working on a psychology degree. I'm going to graduate this summer with. I'm going to have degrees in psychology, sociology, behavioral sciences, university studies. I got a bunch of associate degrees coming, and I'm scheduled to start. We have a new program here, which are bachelor's degree programs. So I'm scheduled to start San Diego State University. It's like a satellite. We have actual professors that come in. These are in-person classes. We have laptops now and everything. So I'm scheduled to start San Diego State for my bachelor's degree in August. Marceli's going to start with me also. And unfortunately, the bachelor's degree, it's in journalism. I mean, that's fortunate for me because I'm a great writer. But for a lot of these guys, I don't know what they're going to do with journalism degrees. But I'm just happy that I'm going to be able to attend a university. And I have a lot of opportunities now because people have realized that, guys, long-term...
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
And that went fast. Guys
right.
who have spent a long time in prison, we're great employees. We've been working for pennies on a dollar for years. We're hard workers. We follow rules. So, I have a lot of job opportunities right now. So I'm hoping to start working in some sort of advertising. If I can't do that, I have a great job with the carpenters union. And I'm just all I want to do is just get out and just pay my bills, make some money, take care of my family. That's my path. I was thinking about getting into teaching if I can get it. I have a pretty good GPA, so I might get into a master's degree program if they offer it.
Hey, David, Tiny T writes, "I'm doing good, my boy. Did you get little Isaac my info?"
I did. Let him know I tried to call. I mean, he tried to call him, but he didn't answer. Tiny T didn't answer.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Tiny T, for that. Yeah, so like he mentioned in the chat, they were incarcerated at the same prison for some time. I believe it was Cali Patria State Prison, which is not too far down the road from Centinela State Prison. And my apologies, I am seeing other comments come in. I'm trying to do my best, to answer any questions or relay any messages to him. Somebody mentioned about writing a letter. Any letters of support would definitely help him out when he goes in front of the board of parole in the next coming years. It might be even sooner if he gets his sentence changed, which he's in the process of going back to court. And here he is. Let me go ahead and plug it back in.
This call is now being
Esta es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, David.
Hey. Yeah, cut off. My bad. Yeah, I want to let the boy know that I'll tell Isaac to try to get a hold of him tomorrow because I heard that he has some downtime on Mondays and Tuesdays. I'll try to get a hold of him again.
Okay, for sure.
Go ahead, James.
We got a question from let me see, from 40 Matt. Does he ever look back and feel bad for what he did?
Of course. Every single day. Absolutely. You know, I think that's the hardest part, you know, of putting everything. I have no more crutches. All I have is time to think about my crime, think about all the people that I hurt, and I absolutely think about the person, you know, that I took out of this world. I do think about him. I think about him daily. I made a commitment to no longer harm anybody. And so no matter what I go through in prison, violence is never the answer. And people might think, well, you know, this guy, you know, this and that. Well, look, I was extremely violent in prison before. I was what you call a bad person in here. I was extremely predatory. They have, I had what you call I had an indeterminate shoe term when I spent a lot of time in the shoe. I spent a ton of time in the hole. Fighting, violence, that was the answer to everything as far as I was concerned. And it's crazy today. It's just, look, it's not an option anymore. I don't care. You know, I don't have the answers to everything. You know, people ask me that, well, what about this situation? What about that situation? Well, I can't tell you what I'll do in that situation, but I can definitely tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to put my hands on nobody. I'm not going to use drugs as a crutch or as an escape. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit here, no matter what happens, and I'm going to take responsibility for what led me to prison. And one day, if the gates open, they open. If they don't, they don't. But I'm not going to go back to living who I used to be. I'm going to educate myself. I'm an excellent student. I'm going to help others. I'm involved in a program working with at-risk youth, and so we try when they come into the prison. So what I'm going to do is just continue to show the public that prison is not what they advertise on TV. There's no glory in prison. There's no glory in the gang lifestyle. This is not a rite of passage. This is not how you become a man, or even in the women's prisons. You know, it's not how you earn your respect in the world. You earn respect by knowing when to walk away from fights. You earn respect by taking care of your family, and those are lessons that we know now. And I want to make sure that people understand that, you know, if I can even save one person from going through what I went through, or from taking somebody's life and causing that family to go through what they're going through, because they're going to live with that every day, then I look at that as a victory. You know, one person. If one person hears this and says, man, you know what, fuck that.
Right. You know, prison's definitely not the place. Definitely not the place to be. You know, I know. You know, I grew up in the streets of LA, and prison, you know, was in my future. Prison was in everybody's future that I grew around, and luckily I was able to snap out of it before it got that serious. Unfortunately for the prison system, I have commitment problems, and when it came to years, I just couldn't commit myself to doing all that time. So, that's one of the main reasons that I did change my life and went down a different path. Let me see. I got a question from here from, I think the name is Erlina. She writes, how much time did his girlfriend at the time get? Says she got charged also for transportation. Damn, they went to look you up.
Yep, and that's important, because I want you guys to understand. Okay, well, that's who I was. So, look, my ex, she was my ex. She was my co-defendant. She got 4 years. They gave her a deal, and because she's the one that drove me over there and drove me away from there. So she got 4 years. She did some of it. She probably only spent like 4 months in there, and then they suspended the rest of the sentence and gave her they gave her probation, I think. I haven't talked to her since. Yeah, it's been like, I was in the county jail for about 5 years at that time, fighting the case, and the last time I had spoken to her was probably 2 years into that. That's it. Yeah, I never talked to her again.
And Erlina writes, of course, we're curious, laughing out loud. And Sarah just tapped in and she says, what's this? We're doing phone calls from prison. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the commentary. Let me go. I'm gonna go ahead and go back up. Let me see. Life is beautiful, writes, we change inside after events happen in life as human beings.
Yeah, it's true. You know, you either change or you don't. That's either who you are. And there's some people that they don't change, man. I know guys in here that have been in here for 30 plus years and they're still doing stupid shit. They don't get it. It's like, all right, well, guess what? CDCR, which is the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, they will have a place for you. If people don't think, well, they won't hold you for the rest of your life. Well, I see people dying here all the time. Absolutely, they will. That's the rest of your life. As soon as you drop on that, you drop on that track, you're done. If somebody gets you, that's how things end in here. But you're going to do the time that you're sentenced to. If you have any type of relief, like if they want to help you out or give you a chance, you're going to earn that chance. They're not going to just open the door because you've served a certain amount of time. You have to show that you could be an asset to society, and you're not the same person. They'll keep locking these doors. There's plenty of room.
Hey, David, so how I had mentioned to you guys that somebody from Jesse's past had been dropping comments. He just showed up into the chat right now, and he goes by 90s YA baby. He writes, what up, Desert Boys? I'm getting ready for my visit, but what's up with Jess?
Hey, so Jesse, we were talking about you the other day.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Jess is at a visit right now, so he's not in here, but he was hoping that you would show up the other day because my boy's been in so many incidents. He's been, Jess is a 90s YA baby. I was in the system as a kid in the 90s. And so he was like, man, he's like, he remembers the mop. And he was like, man, I need to know. He wants to know what your name is, so maybe one day you can drop it you could drop your actual name to James, so James could let him know. But he was curious.
For sure, man. Yeah. Let me see. Yep. He says, it's me, Danny.
Okay, I'll let him know. It's Danny when he gets back. He'll be back probably like maybe around 1 from visit.
For sure. Thank you for that, David. Yep. And let me see. Let me get to some of the other comments right here. Let me see. Miracle's asking, does he have his parents?
I got my mom. My dad, my biological dad, he died when I was 9 years old. I didn't really know him. My mom is still out there. She's trying to do the best she can. That's it.
And Self-Made is asking.
Dad, I don't talk to you really. Yep.
Thank you, David. Self-Made is asking, is he talking to inmates? Yeah, I'm currently talking to David Isaac Lopez, where he's located in Centinela State Prison. Let me see. Donna's just dropped a message. Good evening, James. Hope you you've had a lovely weekend. Let me see.
We don't go by inmates no more. We're incarcerated persons now.
There it is. Oh man! And then let me see. Tiny T wrote a message to Natalie North, and he writes, "Prison is a very violent place." So no, I guess she had asked a question.
It is. Yep. Yeah, I was here I was in Calipatria with Tiny T. That's my boy right there. So he jumps in from time to time to show his support. But yeah, he was on the yard with me. He knows what this place is, and he made it out of here. And he was sentenced to life too before. He got his case overturned, and he's out there and he's living good. He learned. He learned it. That'll tell you right there. And It's not about what you've done. It's about who you are. And if you take responsibility for who you are or who you were, you know, you might get another chance out there. My boy Tiny T's doing great, man. I love hearing about him.
We got a question from Natalie. Do you think some do it so they never become homeless? Oh, I guess that's the question Tiny T was asking. Do people get incarcerated so they have a roof over their head and they're able to get meals and whatnot?
Yeah, I swear I think that too. I mean, I do. I look at some of these dudes and I'm like, oh yeah, well, I would probably be here if I was in too. You know, this would be a better option. Yeah, there's some people in here that you think like, man, I don't know what they would ever do, you know, out there. It's possible. It's kind of like, man, I guess it beats living under a bridge, but you never know.
Yeah. And let me see. We got a comment from.
I think the term is.
We got a question from for Thomas. Thomas wants to know, how are the toilets and food and stuff in prison? Should we give Thomas a toilet flush so he could hear what a toilet sounds like?
Yeah. So every once in a while, yeah. So this thing, right? I don't know what your toilet sounds like, but I'm sorry, guys, that you guys are gonna have to hear this.
Ah, wow. Sounds like you could lose an arm
Is
in
that
there.
Pretty loud?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you can't. Oh, you can. Yeah. So that's the toilet, right? The toilets, they're like this. It's stuck to the sink, right? It's like it's a sink toilet thing. And like I said, I live in here with another person in a small ass environment. And so when my cellie uses that toilet, we got like a little curtain. That's our bathroom door, right? And so it's not cool being locked in the bathroom with somebody, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. And the food, you get 2,000 calories, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what you get a day in here, something like 2,000 calories or something like that. But look, there's good food and there's bad food. Now, the problem with the food here is this is what you eat potentially for the rest of your life. They don't change the menu too much. You have, like, I'm looking at the menu right now. Like this morning was a cool menu. It was pancakes, buttermilk pancakes. You get this, you get sugar-free syrup, so it tastes like medicine. You get a little scoop of, you get like a little scoop of like chunky peanut butter, a little baby celery stick. You get a milk, a little coffee pack. The banana, it's mostly good. You know, you can get at least 75% of it before the black stuff, you know, shows up. And yeah, that's it. That's Sunday. So breakfast pretty much is scrambled eggs. And they're giving us these things right now. They're called plant-based, and they're like little tiny, they're like little pellets. Those are horrible. We can't eat them. They leave an aftertaste all day. I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish with those protein pellets, but or plant-based pellets. I don't know, but yeah, you get that. You get a lot of bread. They give you bread pretty much with everything. Lunch, they only give they give 2 hot meals. Lunch is generally, like right now they're giving us cheese slices with 2 pieces of bread. You get like an apple in there, so it's healthy. But it's definitely, I feel bad for the guys because we get canteen. We get canteen here, so we can buy extra food. We can buy meat pouches. We get packages. We can buy stuff. You know, our family looks out for us and gets us stuff. But there's guys that actually only can eat the state food, man, and I feel horrible for those guys.
Hey, you know what?
I just do. There's guys that'll eat that stuff up. Yeah.
Because you're talking about food right now. Maybe one time when we do a video visit, you could bring out some of these pouches that you're talking about, and or maybe when you guys make some burritos or something, so the audience could get a clear picture of exactly what you're talking about when it comes to like the food that you guys eat, because they are interested.
Yeah. No, like, okay, you know what's crazy? My brother was asking the same thing. I should send you a menu. My little brother, right? He was asking me. He was really interested in the food in prison. He's like, "What do you like?" I literally had to send him a whole month of menus, so he can just take a look and assess it for himself.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Hey, when I call my brother, James, he's
Yeah.
like, "So what did you eat today?"
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
What about how you doing?
Hey, what did you eat this morning?
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Hey, what's up, bro? What'd you eat today? Fuck. All right. Well. All right. Yes. Yeah. That was funny.
Hey, Rose, damn.
Let me give you a call back right now, James.
All right, Rose wrote, damn, they got menus? She put a little smiley face.
Oh, we got menus. We're all bougie. We're bougie now. All right. Now let me call back.
All right, for sure. So let me see. So Wendy, or wasn't, who was it? George is asking, what is that message saying? So that message is letting us know that the call's about to end. We only have 60 seconds left before the call's disconnected. These calls are free for anybody that's interested in California. When you're in prison, the calls are free. They could call anywhere in the world for free, 99 out of your mind. The taxpayers are picking up that bill. So these calls are only they're only 15 minutes long. After 15 minutes, they're automatically cut off. So that's why he has to constantly keep on calling back. And there he is. He's calling right back, if you will.
This call is now being recorded. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello, David.
James?
So I was letting everybody know because they were.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll finish.
No,
I was just gonna say that you're talking on a tablet. That's how you're able to call, and the calls are unlimited, so you could call back as many times as you want. And in Centinela State Prison, the phones stay on all night, 24/7. So in theory, we could do a call at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It don't matter, as long as the tablets are their service is working. Sometimes from time to time they do turn it off, but as long as they're on, then they're working. Then we could talk whenever.
Yep. Yeah, I got yard right now. I got yard now. Probably about 12:45. I got to go out to the yard for a while. I got to get out this damn cell. So, but yeah, anytime. We're trying to get on more. We work and stuff in here, so it's not like we could just jump on. Even though they stay on, we do have a life, with life. But so yeah, we get menus. We get menus in here, and what California is trying to do, right? They call it the California model. It's based on a Norwegian prison system. So a prison in Norway, I think Germany has it like that too. Germany has a prison system where they say that they have a very low return, like recidivism rate to prison. So California has got to be one of the most violent prison systems in the country. It's insane. Like you guys do not understand what it's like in here sometimes. It is insane. So I think last year, did you see how many 187s, how many people were killed, James, in prison this year and last year?
I know it's high. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's definitely off the Richter scale, if you will.
Yeah, you guys can look that up. How many people have been killed in California prisons in 2024 and 25? And you guys would be like, what the hell? Like, it's a lot. So what they're trying to do is, the reason why it got like that is there's a lot of organized crime in prison. There's a lot of gangs and stuff like that. It's prison gangs. And so the reason why the gangs got so powerful is they had a system. It was called the security housing units, right, where the shoe. Everybody that knows has loved ones or whatnot that are in California prisons know about the SHU program. The SHU program it's the hole, right? Like that's when you hear the term like, oh, well, he went to the hole. He did something, went to the hole. Well, just going to the hole is really a temporary housing. So if like me in the past, right, if I was to do something to somebody in prison, I'll go to the hole. But there's also consequences for that longer than just the isolation. When people think, well, remember before they would be like, oh, he just did 2 weeks in the hole. Oh, man, poor guy,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Holler at me when the dude's been in the hole for 10 years. they'll garner some sympathy, you know. But no, the thing is, so you do something in prison, they send you to the hole. And for instance, if it's an assault, if it's some sort of an assault where you hurt another prisoner, or maybe you stab somebody or something like that, you're going to get a SHU term, which means you're going to have to go to long-term housing in an isolation unit. And the problem is that I had done so many, I had committed so much violence in prison that my long-term housing was indeterminate. I had no date to leave the hole. They thought this guy is a danger to the prison system, so we were in a prison. And I was like that for a lot of years. My cellie was like that for a lot of years, where we could not program successfully outside of the SHU, so they left us there indeterminately. So there was a lot of guys like me. I wasn't unique in that sense. So a lot of guys were in the hole, and anytime that you would do something in prison, you're going to the SHU, and you're going to be there just forever, or for years at a time. So the main SHUs were Pelican Bay, Corcoran, and Tehachapi at that time, and every prison has their own version of the hole. Well, so many people were going to the hole that they had to utilize other buildings to house everybody. Some yards had 3 buildings that were the hole and 2 buildings programming. That's how New Corcoran used to be back in the day. E1, E2, and E3 were the hole. E4 and E5 were the only buildings that were programming in the gym. So things have changed now, where they thought, you know what, we're keeping these guys in the hole too long. It's affecting them psychologically, and now we're really behaving like animals. There was no rehabilitation back there. There was nothing. You go to the hole, you're just boom, you're done, you're in a cage, and that's that. And eventually, you're going to be released to the streets. I was released straight from the hole back out to society numerous times. No rehabilitation, no concept of my psychological damage. I was a messed up person, so it's no doubt that I became worse and worse each time. So when I actually committed the crime that I'm here for, it was done so where I had, like, a piece of me was already very, very callous. I was very detached, desensitized. So what California is trying to do now, they eliminated. There's no more indeterminate SHU terms, so they kicked everybody out of the hole, out of the SHU. Well, what that did though is they did it in a widespread. The policy is widespread, so everybody, even death row. We have death row here on this yard. Before death row used to be San Quentin. Well, everybody with death penalties is now on the yards with us. I have guys in my building right now. I can look out my window at their cells, and they are condemned to die in prison. They're sentenced to be executed. So everybody's here all together. So what do you think's happening? There's tons of violence. What they're trying to do is they're trying to separate who wants to program and get on with their life and who doesn't. Well, the only way that you can tell that is when somebody does something to somebody else. Okay, well, this guy definitely ran for his life, so he's probably going to program. And these other guys that ran after the guy who was running for his life, they had knives in their hands. So let's put them all together in a place where they can just kill each other. And that's what they're doing. Welcome to California. Welcome to the California model.
Hey, you know what? I heard that the Norwegian. I don't think they're too happy with California naming them. Naming their whole rebranding. The Norwegian setup, because they're saying that is nothing like the Norwegian setup. They don't know what California is doing. So, that is.
It's not.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's a hybrid. It's its own entity. The problems that they were having in Norway, though, are not the problems that we were having in California. It's different. You have a gang infestation in California. It's like a cancer. It's like a parasite. As soon as you knock off one gang member, 3 show up. They morph like a virus, and that's the problem. You bring them into prison, and the first people to hit you up when you come out to the yard is members from where you grew up at, from the gang in your area. I've talked about that in my stories. What it was like to walk onto a prison yard for the first time. My last name is Lopez. I'm mixed. I'm mixed with other things, but I'm predominantly Mexican. I'm darker skinned. My last name is Lopez. And I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in a suburb outside of Los Angeles in the San Gabriel Valley, but I also lived half my life in the desert. So when I walk into a yard, I'm looking for people that have tattoos from the area where I grew up at. SGV tattoos. I walk in and I'm like, okay, well, who's here from this area? But not only that is I'm looking for the race. Everything's really racially divided in prison. Whether you're a racist or not, you're gonna see, well, these guys over here look this way. These guys over there look that way. So I know, okay, well, these guys, they don't look like me, so I probably shouldn't walk over to that area. And it's not that I don't want to. I might see somebody that I even know over there that's from another race, but I cannot cross an invisible boundary. I can't cross into that side of the basketball court because guess what? Most of those dudes don't know me. They will be on their feet and they will try to protect their area because that's their safe place. So I can't go there. I have to look for, and then Mexicans, I don't know. Like I'm seeing brown people and I'm like, all right, well I got to see. Okay, these guys got long hair, so they're probably from Northern California. These guys are all bald, out of shape, and on drugs. Those are my homeboys. you know, these are the guys that got tattoos all over their face. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that those are my guys. And that's how you can kind of tell. You got to look. You got to look at the boundaries, see where everything's at, see who's sitting where, and you're doing all this as you're being pushed onto a prison yard with thousands of people. So yeah, it's a lot.
Hey, David, I got a question for you from Tona, and they're coming in from Britain. Ask him, what is the hardest time in jail, daytime or nighttime? As UK, I would say nighttime.
It depends, Tona. It depends. So, nighttime has always been difficult for me because I wake up a lot at night. Especially lately, I didn't get good sleep last night. I have a lot of things on my mind. There's nights where I stay up and I think about my victim. There's nights where I stay up and I think about my family out there. There's nights where I stay up. I'm married, so I think about my wife. I think about things that I could have, things I'm never going to have. So nighttime, yeah, it could be difficult. I wake up at 1 in the morning a lot. 1 o'clock in the morning, man, like a freaking rooster crowing in the morning. And I can't go to sleep. I try and my thoughts start racing and the worst thing that I could think about is the time that I'm doing. That's the worst. Daytime is the worst when you're in the hole. When you're in the hole, daytime is a nightmare. I get up in the morning. I get up in the morning when I'm in the hole and you have nothing in there. There's no TV, there's no radio, now they give out radios, but when I did my time in the hole, there was none of that stuff. Nothing to read. So I wake up and I look around and that's it. There's nothing for me to do. And there's no clock. There's no direct sunlight, so I can't tell where I'm at in my day. I can't tell if I've been sitting there for 2 hours or, an hour, 5 hours. I could kind of tell when it's time to go to sleep because it's a long time after dinner. It's a mess. Sometimes I'll end up going to sleep on accident at like 7 o'clock, and then I'm up at like 3 in the morning. And it starts again every day like that, so it just all depends where you're doing your time.
Hey, Tiny T just wrote a message. He says, tell Isaac to call me anytime.
All right. I'm going to see. I call him Young Fresh. I just gave him a haircut today. Now, Isaac, the guy we're talking about, he's a kid. Isaac came in at 16 years old, and he still looks like it. It's like he got trapped. He's like a little vampire. And I feel so bad for Isaac. He's been in for probably, I think he's 26 now, so he's been for about 10 years. His entire childhood is lost to the system. He's doing life also. So Isaac may or may not ever get out of prison. So Yeah, he took somebody's life at 16 years old. That's it.
Hey, life is beautiful, right? So I'm really proud of this guy on the phone. He is learning as much as he can. He sounds educated.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I do want to do right by society. It doesn't matter where you're from. You know, everybody was affected in some way, shape, or form by my actions. You know, whether it be my city, my state. Um, I am educating myself. I love school. I never knew that I was as smart as I am, man. I'm pretty smart. I'm book smart. I knew that I was street smart, but I'm actually, I enjoy school.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I'm sad that I'm almost done with my associate's degrees because I know that I only got so many years for my bachelor's degree. But yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you guys.
All right, and
You gotta say David too. You can't just call me the guy on the phone. You gotta be like, I'm really.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
David sounds so smart. All right, now go ahead.
Hey, so I got a question from you. So because a lot of people are just coming in right now, they want to know what you did, and they also want to know again, do you got a parole date?
No, I'm a lifer. I don't. I'm sentenced to die in prison. I could come home. It's possible. I got a parole date. I go to board in 6 years. Sorry, guys, that I had to repeat this. I'm here for 187 for taking somebody's life. You guys got to refer to the news story. You got to be like, look, just read the story.
All right. So yeah, just look him up. I know you guys are interested. If you guys do a Google search on David Isaac Lopez out of the Coachella Valley, David Isaac Lopez. Also, if you go over to our YouTube channel at CollectCallFrom, go to at CollectCallFrom, go to the playlist and look up David Lopez, where he explains his whole journey from his earliest memory as a child to where he is at now, and it'll answer a lot of your questions, if you will. All right, he's calling back, and we'll go ahead and continue.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, David.
Yes, sir.
All right. I got a comment. I'm gonna read off a comment here from call me McF. People in isolation getting released is very dangerous. What's your thought on that right there, David?
I agree. For my public speaking class, I did an entire speech on that to show that it is very dangerous. I left isolation a very dangerous person. So the way that it worked before is I wasn't a lifer. I had come into prison and I was doing short sentences, mostly like I was a gang member. I was doing a bunch of stupid shit. But I spent, when I got an indeterminate shoe, which means I was sentenced to stay in the hole. As soon as I came in off of the bus, I was taken into a cage and I was returned back to the hole. They would not let me out into the general population. So no matter what term I was sentenced to at that time, I would do the entire term in isolation. Then, whether it be a year, 2 years, 3 years, the parole officer would have to come pick me up because I couldn't be released out of isolation onto a bus, or nobody could pick me up, only my parole officer, because I was considered a high control parole. So the parole officer would come take me from the hole and drop me right back off into the city. And yeah, that's what it was. Now, I've read studies that show that even after as little as 14 to 15 days, something like that, that your brain waves slow down from being in isolation. We start getting more aggressive. I used to I had zero patience. I couldn't really handle loud sounds. That's why it's really quiet. The shoe is super quiet. When people talk on the chair to each other, we usually lay down on the floor and we talk under our doors. And when we do it, it's very brief, and you kind of just get stuck within yourself, you know. You know.
Yeah, I got a comment right here from I think it's interesting comment right here. Let me see here. From Anna Marie. She writes, as a mother, my son has has 2 strikes in jail again, waiting sentencing, all based on his emotions.
Well, prison's full of emotional people. Yeah. I think a lot of the way that, like me, for instance, right? A lot of the way that I acted in the past was because I didn't know how to control my emotions. When something happened that I didn't like, I was immediately triggered, and my thought would be like, okay, well, this action calls for this reaction. I had a notoriety complex where I don't know, the guys who had looked up my story and stuff might see that I was involved with some very dangerous people in a very dangerous lifestyle, and a part of me craved that notoriety. So when a situation came up, I was emotionally unstable, so I reacted as would a violent gang member. That was my reaction to everything. Well, how would a violent gang member act under these circumstances? And in prison, I have 2 strikes in here. I picked up more time in here. I picked up 15 additional years on an in-house case in here, on a gang-related case, and so I feel for her son. I hope he learns 2 strikes isn't the end of the world, but if he's not careful, he could end up getting a 3 strikes, 25 to life.
All right, let me see. I got a comment from Tiny T. He says, tell him I'm proud of him. I can't wait to have a burger with him out here.
Yep, a bomb ass burger too. Yep, real burger. Not one of these freaking, not one of these hockey pucks they put in between the bread.
Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see. I got a comment from 41 Matt. He writes, he seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. Now he'll be out in 6.
I think so. You know, I appreciate you guys, man, for seeing that. You know, appreciate you guys. What if I was like, hey James? What if I was like, Holmes? Well, talking like I was like, man. Well, I don't know. There's some vato, yeah, Charlie's homie. I don't know, man. Some vato, he set me up, and I didn't do it, Yeah, he said I'm the shooter. I mean, yeah, technically the gun did the gun did the work, All I did was squeeze the finger. I don't think
Hey, I'm glad you don't talk like that. I would have not been able to do it, David. If you spoke like that, it would have been, yeah. Nah, I would have tapped out on that one.
I would have been like, hey, James, I don't know, squeezing a gun is like taking a picture, eh? You just kind of just like, you just make your finger just tap the little thing and boom, that's it. Yeah, but no, it's there's guys in here that talk like that. I think like, fuck, man, really, like, we got a lot of work to do on you, man. And you know what's even worse is the guys that come up and they're really good guys, but that's just how they grew up. There's, like I tell people too, look, there's nothing wrong with the culture, man. There's nothing wrong with the culture of La Raza. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the car shows, with the clubs, with the, there's nothing wrong with that. We as gang members, we pervert the culture. We turn it into something bad. We don't wear big clothes and a derby hat so we can look firme in front of the lowrider. We don't do none of that. We do it so that we can represent a gang. There's people that have a lot of pride in their neighborhood. We as gang members, we turned it into something evil. And that's the problem. So when a guy comes up and they have that old lifestyle, they got that big brocha, like you got a big old brocha, you got an old school prison brocha right there. We can't just look at you and be like, oh, okay, well, he's got.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
He's got that big mustache. He's got a bald head. It's probably this. It's probably that. And that's not accurate. We turn that into something bad in here because of our behavior, and we don't do a service to the people that we say that we're representing. And I'm trying to make those changes. I want people to be able to come up to me no matter what they look like, no matter who they are, no matter what race they are, ethnicity, creed. I don't care. If you want to learn my method to how I was able to achieve the change that I have, then I'm willing to teach you. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. You can't force somebody to be something they're not. Simple as that. If they want to run around prison and they want to get high and they want to do what they do, they want to fight people, use cell phones, that's their business. I'm not here to judge those people because I did all that shit before too. But they're not somebody that I'm going to want to have around me. When they're ready, they could come to me. I don't care if they're fresh out. I'm not going to just let them come in and be like, still having the residual effects of like some drug or something. But, definitely I'm willing to accept them however they are, as long as they know that they're ready to make that change. And I'm going to help them. And I'm going to continue to help people in here and out there. That's what it is, James. That's my life. That's my mission. I'm like Kung Fu the Legend.
Hey, I got a comment right here from Vic. And
I'm
Vic,
like,
go ahead. You're like, what?
Yep. I'm like Walker, Texas Rangers. I just walk around looking for adventure. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a comment from Vic, and you know what? I don't think we had this much interaction in quite some time. We got about 181 people watching on one channel. We got 27 on another. We got like 10 people on the YT account. So we got over 200 people, listening to the conversation right now, which is pretty, mind blowing to me. But so we got a comment from Vic, and Vic is not a dude. I thought Vic was a dude, but she actually had to correct me on that.
You mean Vicky or Victoria?
No, her name is just Vic. So I see Vic and I'm thinking it was a gentleman, but it was, and then you know what? Then she could have just said, well, you could look at my picture, but then the icon's really lit over here and my eyesight's not the greatest. But she wrote this. All right, she wrote, just read his welcome to a men's project. How amazing that he has turned away from his addiction.
Damn, they found that?
Yeah, they're on it.
What exactly is on? What's exactly online right there? Hey, well, thank you for scrolling down. Yeah, I did do that. That's cool, man. I did that a long time ago too. Yep.
Yeah,
there's a couple typos on that one I've seen, but yep, that was for I think I did that one a long time ago. But that's cool, guys. Thank you. That's me right there.
Man, that's pretty cool right there, man. Hey, they got them Twitter fingers. They definitely know how to use Google, if you will. Let me see. We got a question from Maria. She's asking, what job does David do in prison? I can't imagine he's in the library. Hey, that's a pretty good guess right there. And as a matter of fact, that's something that you wanted to touch on today, as far as what you do on job, as far as you do on your job.
I was in the library. I'm not in the library no more, but I was a librarian all the way till a week ago, last Thursday. So in here, you have 2 year. I generally work as a clerk. So prison run, like we help the prison run a lot, so we do a lot of the administrative tasks and stuff like that. Custody really handles security, but so I was a library clerk / I helped legal. I was a legal assistant, college tutor. That's what I did in there. So when you work as a clerk, they don't want you getting too comfortable with your with the staff member you work for. So they rotate us every 2 years. And my 2 years was coming up. So now I'm a clerk in auto mechanics. I work in an auto shop now, a mechanic shop. And this is a real mechanic shop, James. This is like, I walked in there and I was like, holy shit, I'm going to die in here. It was like, these ain't books.
Yeah.
Yeah, these ain't books. You know what I mean? Like, if you bump your head on something, this ain't like a soft book, you know, a little piece of cardboard or something like that. Hell no, this is a freaking bumper, a fender. This is a freaking muffler. You know, you have to really pay attention. There's cars because what they do is the labor's cheap here. So people, I don't know how they do it, but they contact the prison and they bring their cars in, and they bring them right to the shop. They got auto body here, auto paint, auto mechanics, small engines. And so I don't know if they're COs or I don't know what, you know, correctional officers. I don't know who these cars are, but there's cars all around that freaking shop, man. They're up on lifts, and I work in the tool room. I'm the tool room clerk, so I'm a clerk / tool room attendant. So I got this. I'm in a cage. It's like an actual cage, like a fenced-in area, and I have my desk there. I have my computer, and there's man, every tool you could think of is in there, James. Like, there's probably over $100,000 in tools in there. Badass. And so what I do is I just have to make sure that the tools that are coming out come back in, you know. We got like a chit system, and I keep track of them. And then my boss...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Before everybody leaves, my boss will come in and double check all my work, and boom, everybody can go. That's what I've been doing now.
Hey, David, I'm like you. Hey, I'm a paper pusher, so I definitely wouldn't feel too comfortable, you know, in the mechanic shop. I'm not trying to get any grease on my hands. That's just not the way that I roll. But hey, give me a stack of papers. I'll go ahead and file them for you, copy, fax, and whatever you need me to do in the office. I could do all of that. Hey, put your paper clips in order. I'll sign up for that, boss.
Hey, yeah, no, I'm like, man, well, because I'm really good with computers, so I know Excel. We have a spreadsheet for like the testing, because they have to do tests, because it's a vocational trade shop. That's what it is. So we have, you know, I have to enter a lot of stuff in, and I have to be proficient with that. So it's cool. It gives me both, you know, because me, I'm not afraid to get my...
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
So it's cool, but it's different, you know. It's way different than the library.
Yep. Hey, I'll
give you.
Yeah. Give me a call back, but let me read this question right here. We got a question from S Baker. When he gets out, are you gonna try to meet up with him? For sure, 100% correct. I'm definitely other individuals that I've interviewed. That's all the ultimate goal. When they do walk out of prison, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna live stream it. And actually, we did a live release. We did 2 live releases last year. Yep. So right now, okay, for sure. Yeah. So if you would like to look at those live releases that we did last year, if you go to my YT page at CollectCallFrom, I think it's pinned up at the top. Also, if you look on my on my TT account, go to profile. On the small account, I think it's somewhere on the bottom. The big account, it's pinned on the top. We had 2 releases yesterday. One of them was Jeremiah. He did 10 years, and then we also did Big Joe. He ended up doing 27 years in prison. Went in at 17, and he got out, I think, like at 43 or so, if I'm remembering correctly.
This call is now being recorded.
Es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
What up, Tiny?
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
If it was the question about the interview, yeah, for sure. Drop me a message, and we could definitely set something up.
Para registrar. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Hello. Hey, David.
Yes, sir.
So I want to go ahead and give out a disclaimer here, because I'm not trying to have any issues. So David is married. I'm also married too. Not that anybody's asking. So look, I don't want any problems with his wife or anything. He's married. He's not single, ready to mingle. I know I did show his picture, but I didn't show his picture. So to try to get him any dates, I just put that on there because I know some individuals were asking if I've ever seen him. So I wanted you guys to see who he was. It wasn't for fishing. I wasn't using him as fish bait, if you will.
Hey, I'm what do you call it? Did you just catfish me? I am. Hey, James is like, hey, it's me right there. Like, freak, what'd you do? Would you do one of them freaking deep fake me talking on a freaking mic? And like, oh, this is me. Hey, hey,
Without a shirt on.
man. Yeah, without a shirt on, yeah. No, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a disclaimer. This is a disclaimer to the world because the world's on here. But yes, one woman has stolen my heart. I've been married to her for many years. That is my wife. I love her very, very much. And look, this is the thing. Just because there's a lot of guys in prison that they come onto these pages. I mean, to podcasts or they get on the what is it? What's the other one? Right of Prison or stuff like that. And there's some good guys.
Yeah.
There's some guys that are good. There's some guys that aren't. But just because I'm in prison, it doesn't mean that I should be put into one particular box. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it is. But married is one of those boxes you can definitely put me in. Now, as far as conversating and answering questions and stuff like that, yeah, I'm very respectful. If you have questions to ask me and stuff like that, yeah, you can ask me. Feel free.
There it is there. So, there is that that option. I know a lot of times, there is women on here, family members, mothers, sisters, and whatnot, and they want to get a little bit more insight, as far as how the California prison system works, or if you're going in front of the parole board, or you guys are just curious. So there is an application that you could reach out to him. It's called GTO Getting Out. Now, if you're looking for prison pen pals or looking for love, you guys should definitely check out on TikTok. Check out Lockup Connections. It has a blue icon, and she profiles individuals that are looking for some type of either friendships or relationships behind bars, and it's free 99. So if you're looking for that, then there's that option there. Oh, I got a question from Starlight.
Go ahead.
So she's asking,
Starlight.
welcome, Starlight. And she says, she wants to know if you guys are on a modified program. Her husband is on the level 4 on the main line. So I'm guessing.
No, level 4s are, and we're not here. So the problem with my celly's tablet is off. They shut all the tablets off for level 4s. Or not, I don't think they shut them all the way off, but I think they cut the phone calls. But my celly, his tablet is unusable.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Level 3s are not unmodified like that. But they have been burning us for the program a lot so they can go over there and hit that yard. This yard's something else, James. This is a non-designated program facility. It's up and running. So we got dudes that are coming here from all walks of life, You don't have to get on the NDPF yard, you don't have to debrief. You don't got to tell on people. You don't got to do none of that stuff. You just say that you want a program on an NDPF, and you'll come over here. So there's guys though that come over here, and they don't want to be here, and they just get off on somebody and they're gone. To each their own, No judgment. It's just not for me.
And I got a comment from Riley 6628. What's up, Riley? So she writes, I've never seen you do this. What is this? So I know a lot of the viewers are on right now. They're used to seeing.
Great freaking question.
So they're
hey, what the hell you got me into?
So they're used to seeing me, cracking jokes, when we're watching the border parole hearings or we're watching the initial appearances in Arizona. So a lot of the people that have come in, they're not used to me when conversating with people that are currently incarcerated. So we're touching on wide variety of let me see of things that happen, in the criminal justice system, from initial arrest to going to prison, and then ultimately what happens behind bars. So I think I'm trying to cover as many bases as I can, with this with this channel, if you will, if that makes any sense.
Yep. We come so in case you didn't notice Riley, so when we first started doing these calls, right? We've been doing this for over a year. It was generally just to give a voice, give us a voice out there. Most of the guys that come on here, this is how it all started. Most of the guys that come on here, like me, one of my close friends, we're serving life in prison. So a lot of people don't get to really interact with people like us. people that have committed serious crimes, people that are actually in redemption or recovery. We don't come in here to glorify prison or that past life. So what James does is he gives us an opportunity to interact with each other. You guys are the public. You guys are out there in the world. Well, this is our world in here. And so if you have any questions, if you've seen anything on TV that you want to kind of get better clarification on, you watch Orange is the New Black. Like James, he can act like one of the chicks in the women's prison. He does it all right, you know. It's not the best impersonation, but it's not the best. He doesn't really put the effort in that Jesse does, you know. Jesse will at least make the sounds and stuff, but no, Jesse's my Sally. Yeah, but no, it's just that's all.
Let me see. We got a question from Shay Baby. Are there daily fights? And we also got another question from I can't even make that.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I got a question from how are the conditions where you are?
Fairly well, I guess. This prison's not really run down. It's in the middle of nowhere, but I've been into some pretty run down places, and this is not one of them. I'm on what you call a 270 design. So the building is set up like a square. You've seen one 270 design. You've seen them all. Most prisons in California have this design. But, I mean, the paint's chipped. The cells leak when it rains. The air doesn't really blow too well, so in the summer we suffocate in here. There's mold in different places. The showers are freaking. They got this bright light on in the shower, and there's like a door that only covers like the middle part of your torso. But if you walk under the shower, you can see everything. Yeah, so that's a problem. But other than that, I mean, the yard is kind of like there's grass out there, but it's mostly like a dust bowl.
I got another.
Rusty.
I got another comment from Sarah W. She's this is not a question, but hope you have a great week.
You too. You too.
Vic is asking, do you get along with your cellmate?
My cellie's like my brother. Get along with my cellie. I'm very lucky. Jesse and I, we've known each other since we were kids. We spent time in the system together when we were young. 15 years old, 16 years old, 17 years old. I've spent time with Jesse in other prisons and stuff, but yeah, I know him from out of society. Yeah, me and Jesse are very close. Yep.
All right, and then we see Riley's asking, what is their day like from morning to night?
Well, I'm pretty busy. I get up in the morning, go to breakfast, come back from breakfast around like we eat about 6:30. When I get back from breakfast, about by 7:30, they open my door and I go to work. And I go work in a mechanic shop. I go in there and just hand out tools to people, start entering stuff, filling out documents. I get out of work at 2:00. I usually come back to the building real quick, grab my yard stuff, go back out to yard. So I usually go work out until about 4:00. Come back in, sit in the cell, go to dinner at 5. After dinner, I sit in the cell again. I go to day room at 7:00. I stay out there till about 7:30. No, I'm sorry, 8:40, and then I'm in the cell for the rest of the night, locked in. And it repeats every single day, like the Truman Show. Nothing changes.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I got another.
In that routine is when crazy shit happens. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I thought you were finished up. I was gonna ask you another question.
Well, I go in my routine, right? And I'll be cruising, like go to breakfast in the morning, and then I'll be like, I'll see something that's not right, and I'll be like, oh shit, that doesn't look good. And then all of a sudden, just fucking pandemonium. Everybody will be fighting. I'll be like, all right, well, got to get away from there, you know? And then I'll go behind the wall. And, well, that's what we call like the mechanic shop because it's the vocational trade. I'll go back there and I'll be doing my clerk stuff. And then all of a sudden, just somebody falls head first on the ground, freaking out, and everybody alarms go, and we all have to get down. And like that's what's happening all around me in my routine. Cops will run over there. He might be on a drug overdose or something like that, and I'll be in the cell kicking back waiting for dinner, and it'll be delayed for like, instead of 5 o'clock, I start eating around 6:30. We're right here hungry because somebody got hit in the chow hall, another building. I'll be right here watching TV. Like, I'll be in the cell like in the morning, like, damn, why didn't they open my door? It's already 8 o'clock, 8:30. And then all of a sudden I hear a bunch of commotion, and I hear dogs barking, and all of a sudden all the freaking cops, there's like 100 cops in my building, and they have everybody stripped out naked, and it's all bad. That's prison.
See, next question is going to be, they want to know about Jesse. Is Jesse a lifer too?
He is. Jesse's a lifer, but Jesse's been in for 24 years, and he's usually here. He's on a visit. Jesse's usually always on these calls with me. So he's been in for 24 years, but his sentence was 25 years to life, which means that he has to serve 25 years, and then he could go to the parole board, but they can hold him up to the rest of his life.
And Jesse, he goes.
Hey, James, they just
they're gonna call you for
they
day
just
room.
called for yard right now.
Okay, all right, cool.
For yard.
Hey, David.
Hey, go ahead and ask that question. though. They're not here yet.
You
can ask a question if you want to ask another one.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say that I was gonna say that Jesse's actually gonna go to the parole board in December, I believe. So if everything goes well for him, he might be looking at a release date of 2026. I think like May or June of 2026. So I'm definitely gonna be out there with my camera equipment. So I know there is some releases coming up soon. So I definitely plan on being out there. I'll probably be live on TikTok.
Well, try to schedule a time that we could come on again. So the listeners that want us to come on or whatever, and we'll be back. We usually do this weekly. So it's not a one-time deal where it's like, man, I didn't get to talk to the fellas. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
No, we'll be back.
Yeah, we normally do this.
Jesse and David, we're always on here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Normally either Saturday or Sunday, but due to scheduling constraints, it was only David that was able to jump on today. I'll be available tomorrow or Tuesday if you guys want to jump on. Maybe we can even do a video visit, so they could kind of see the day room.
I'll talk to Jess and we'll stay in touch. All right.
For sure.
My door's open right now, so sorry guys. I got to go out there and walk the circle and hope nothing happens to me. But that's prison, and that's the consequences of my actions. So don't do drugs. Say no to crime. Stay away from gangs, and you won't have to sit in here like this. But I appreciate you guys, man.
And one other one,
to be on here.
Southside BK 99 wants to tell you guys what's up. And hey,
that's the boy right there.
Yeah.
That's the boy. Yeah, just don't say that in California. Yep.
All right, then, David.
Yep.
Hey, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I got to roll, right?
All right, handle.
Yep.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Yep. Talk to you later, man.
All right, for sure.
See you later, guys.
All right, have a good one. How do I find people to talk to? So I'm connected. I'm connected in the California prison system. I got a buddy of mine that's been in prison for, I think at this point he's been in there for over 16 years. And I had mentioned to him about 2 years ago that I wanted to start a YouTube channel and bring individuals that were incarcerated so they could share their journey. So like I mentioned earlier on, I know a lot of you guys are new here. As far as what brought you in was the streaming that I do of these court cases. But previous to that, a large majority of time that I would spend would be a lot of these conversations and asking them questions and interviewing them and whatnot. Hey, what's up, Jenna? How's it going? Hey, LastChanceHomie, I just seen you, David. We just got off the line with David. But you guys should definitely check out our YouTube page at CollectCallFrom and check out the playlist. Like I said, I mean, we have hours and hours of interviews and whatnot from different individuals. I think maybe it's been like over 20 people that I brought on and they share their journey with us. Also, if you guys could go ahead and do me a favor, I don't want you to send me money. No, I don't need you to send me any gifts. But what I do need you guys to do, if you guys could hit that follow button, it's free 99, doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, David just took off. He was heading to the yarda, if you will. You're the best. Hey, thank you, ISA. Awesome live. Thank you. Hey, thank you, all of you guys. I know there's a huge interest, from the UK, Ireland, Britain, New Zealand, Australia, Europe, the United States, Canada, Africa. Man, it's definitely I'm definitely honored, with with the questions and you guys spending some time with us here. I know you guys could have just scrolled and kept it moving. There's all kinds of people, putting on content or streams or conversations and whatnot. So I'm truly honored. Let me see. What jail is he inmate? He's in a prison in California. It's known as Centinela State Prison, which is located right next to the Mexican border. I appreciate this as we never hear their thoughts for their crimes. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I do it. Yeah, you guys get the initial appearances when they walk into these court systems, and you guys hear the parole board hearing. So this is a different angle, so it's more interactive. Yeah, I know you guys have a lot of questions. You guys are curious and whatnot, and I'm also curious too. It might look like I've been to prison, but hell no, I never went to prison. I'm glad I never went there. Subscribe to your YT page. Hey, thank you, White Rabbit 420. Highly appreciate that. Let me see. So hey, I do appreciate you guys. Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream. Like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it slices out. And with that, I'm out. But I'll be back. Hey, I try to do daily streams whenever I can, even when I'm not available. I still have the court cases going on YouTube. Do you talk to other inmates from different prisons? The only other prisons that I've done would be Ironwood State Prison and Donovan State Prison and Cali Patria State Prison. Let me see. Love the work you do, brother. Appreciate all the time and effort you put in. Thank you guys for sitting in and listening to this conversation. And with that being said, I'm out of here, Tina. Appreciate you, Eliasman. Hey, gracias everybody that's tuning in. See you guys next stream. All right. Have a good day and blessings.